Good evening everybody, apologies for not being there this evening, but what I've got for you tonight is a distance learning lesson so you can do some electronic seminars and then do a task to feedback on those later on in the week, and we'll review all this next week. So as you can see here, what I'm using this software is called Screencast-O-Matic. What you need is a webcam, and then the webcam basically records whatever happens on the screen and whatever you say on the webcam. Also, when I move the cursor, you can see where the cursor is moving as well. So as you can see, what I'll do here is, once I've uploaded this video to YouTube, I'll put a link to it here so it's available on the PowerPoint that you can access in the classroom. I'll also embed this video into Canvas on lesson 3 of the Promoting Positive Behaviour. I'm not there during the lesson, however, if you look down here, this is my Twitter handle. If you want to contact me during the lesson, you can do here, and you can use this hashtag. And so if you've got any questions or queries or ideas, or you want a bit of clarification, you can tweet me here and I'll respond during the session. So the agenda really for this screencast, and then for you for the rest of the evening, the screencast will take us no more than 15 minutes. It is free software that's available online, but with this version all you get is 15 minutes. So we're going to go through the screencast. Once we've done that, I'll be discussing the rest of the things in the agenda, but then ultimately I want you to work through these different things. You're going to work in groups. I'm going to give you some groups to work in, and then each group has got a specific task. As soon as you work in those groups, I want you to revisit and examine the in-course and end-course assessment for the Promoting Positive Behaviour module. Those are available in this PowerPoint, so rather than go to the module guide, you can look here if you wish. During this section, and once you've looked at the module guide and the assessments, you're going to produce an electronic seminar on a given subject, and there's a task sheet to explain all about that. Then what I want you to do, and this is outside of this session really, they will be shared via Canvas, and I want you to play them and look at every single one. Once you've looked at every single one, there is a questionnaire for you to complete, so that rather than you just focusing on the subject that you've got for your presentation, you really thoroughly understand all the different theories and approaches that sit within the humanistic approach to promoting positive behaviour. Paul, fingers crossed you're there. What I'd like you to do is record who's attended and send me a quick email, and I can update the register with that. If Paul's not there, someone else can do it. That would be fantastic. Nick's available. I understand Nick may have already spoken to you this evening. If not, he's in the next door classroom. But you are level 6 undergraduate students, and so any issues or queries you've got, I want you to try and work through them together before going to see Nick. As I mentioned, communication. I can be contacted at Twitter and my handle and hashtags on the title slide. So, group seminars. There's going to be 4 groups. Each group has got to prepare a seminar, an electronic seminar that's going to be shared online. You could use a Screencast-O-Matic if you want to do that. So let's have a look all about that. Through doing this, what you'll be able to do, ultimately, in reverse order, I want you to start right at the bottom, and we're going to be able to outline the principles of the humanist approach to promoting positive behaviour. What are the arguments behind humanism? I want you to critique the humanistic approach, but it's actually the approaches and strategies that you could use, what you could do, what you could change in your practice. I want you to appraise your settings alignment to the humanist approach. Is it humanist? Why is it humanist? What could be done differently or better to develop that? And then I want you to start thinking is a humanist approach, non-violent communication, the use of William Glasser's choice theory, is that going to feature in your in-course and in-course assessment? So are you going to focus your electronic guide or the handbook for teachers, staff in your setting on a humanist approach? So last week, that's what you're asked to do, and really this research is going to inform what you're going to do today in these seminars. Hopefully you can see that last week you needed it, but this week you're going to need it even more. So how are we going to do it? I'm going to divide you into 4 groups, and the next slide is those 4 groups. For whatever reason, if people haven't attended, and I have got apologies from a few people, so I've not included those in the groupings. If they are not here, then if you can chop and change a little bit, that's fine. Use the session time, so from now until 8:30, to research and produce an electronic seminar. And then before next week, I want you to do 2 things. The first is to view the electronic seminars of all the groups, including the one that you've done, and then I want you to complete the post-session questionnaire, and that is available on lesson 3 of Canvas. So the groups then, Group 1 is Paul, Charlotte and Louise. Group 2, Lee, Chris, Alison, Holmes and Rebecca. Group 3, Joanne, Simone and Maxine. Group 4 is Liam, Alison, Forster, Andy and Inyung. And the subjects for those groups, here we go, we're back. So Group 1, you're looking at the humanist approach altogether. What is humanism? What's the principles of it? And I also want to have a look at Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And really with that, if you want to, it's not enough in there to focus your guide on in its entirety. So have a look at it. The criticisms are basically, he just thought of it one day, thought it'd be really good and put it out. It's not based on any research, but it is quite widely used, but it's used in a very small way at the start just to make sure everyone's okay quite often. Group 2, you're looking at Alfie Kohn's concept of developing what's known as a community approach to everything, to rule setting, to sanctions, everything like that. But what he says in particular is we've got this huge compliance approach where these rules you will follow, if you don't, this happens. And we try and get away from that. Ultimately, so really the focus on this is what can we do to develop this community? So Group 2, that's what you're going to focus on. Group 3, William Glasser's choice theory, and what he says ultimately is that all behaviour is chosen, but we don't make a conscious decision, but we could, if we wanted to, stop that and change that. He also talks about the 5 basic needs that people have got. William Glasser's 5 needs are based in a lot of research, so William Glasser's needs are much better than Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So that's going to give us a much more informed and theoretically sound approach to identifying needs. So we can have a look at those needs. And then I want you to have a look at how our needs as people inform our emotions, how we feel, and how those emotions then drive our behaviour. And sometimes we see behaviour as negative or bad, not complying to what we should do, so we sanction the behaviour, we don't recognise the underlying need and the emotion. So really it's quite an interesting way of seeing what those needs are with children, young people, and even adults not being able to communicate what those needs are. Group 4, you're going to look at Marshall Rosenberg's nonviolent communication. If you go to YouTube, you'll see some videos from Marshall Rosenberg. He appears a bit eccentric. He has 2 puppets, one's a jackal, one's a giraffe. And what he says is all about the way we communicate things to people. He says quite often we have violent communication and we should move to non-violent communication. Rather than making demands, we make a reasoned request. So it might be a very subtle change, but it is theoretically informed, as that's a worthwhile one to have a look at. So what we've got here is we've got 1 strategy, 2, 3 strategies with William Glasser, and the 4th strategy is Marshall Rosenberg's NVC. So these 3 things may want to feature in your handbook or electronic guide. There is a task sheet with guidelines, and I'll show you that shortly, and different areas that you may want to focus on for each group, different things you should look at. And hopefully Nick's got those printed off. If they're not printed off, they are available electronically on Canvas. So let's move on. Ultimately, however you want to present it is up to you. Whatever resources you've got. Obviously, if you haven't got a webcam, you can't use one of these. You can't use a screencast. But if someone has got one of their laptops, there's a few people who've got laptops that may have webcams in, and you can use that to make this. Whatever happens, I want it to be able to be uploaded to Canvas electronically so that people can watch it and view it and access it. The best way, and what I will do with this is I will create this, I will upload it to my YouTube channel as an unlisted video, and I'll share the link with you. So I'm not going to put loads of content into Canvas. If you want to put it onto Canvas, because I want to see it on Canvas as well, but if you want to share those links on your WhatsApp group, that's even better. You could produce a vodcast. A vodcast is a video podcast. So you just use one of your phones, you could record something, and you record a conversation, an interview. You could record someone standing by a screen and presenting a PowerPoint. Up to you. A podcast is basically like a radio interview or a presentation on radio that it's just someone explaining, discussing what the situation is. Screencast-o-matic, this is what I'm using here, maximum of 15 minutes. You could also have a look at a Petra Kucha. The Petra Kucha is 20 slides, each lasting 20 seconds. And so it's very to the point, there's no waffle, and it's bang, 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 you're moving on loads and loads of information. If you've got another one that you've used, another way of doing it, use it, that's fine, I'm quite happy for that. what I'm actually looking for this is how you may want to present your electronic guide, electronic resource for staff in your setting. I don't know if you can see, but behind me here, what it says is the electronic seminars should be shared via the discussion in this week's session page on Canvas. I'll show you that shortly. So this is part of the PowerPoint. This is the PowerPoint that's available for you on Canvas. If you want to recap what the ICA is, so Producer Handbook or e-learning resource, you can have a look at that. And then this is your commentary. So the 4,000 words between the handbook and this, you can decide where that's going to be used. There is the post-session questionnaire that's available on Canvas. So you're going to get a task sheet. You're going to do that task, create an e-learning resource, one of these things that you're doing now, that you're watching now, and then you're going to have a look at the post-session questionnaire for next week. By the end of the session, I want you to go back and really have a look at, could this be used in my handbook or e-learning resource? And that's something that's probably worthwhile you having a look at. I'll just minimise that, and let's have a look in Canvas. Positive behaviour. If we come here, so this is this week, there'll be one more thing in here because I'll move this down. I'll put the video that you're watching now embedded in there. That's the PowerPoint that you can access. Your task in the group seminars is here, so you can open that. This is the post-session questionnaire that I want you to do for next week. And here, this is a link to a discussion board. Once you've opened that discussion board, you can put all the information, all your electronic seminars that you've created in here. Obviously this is running a little bit slow because I've got the webcam on. Everything's there for you. Use this time productively. You can work anywhere else you need to. There's computers available in 2 Queen Square. If there's a classroom that's not occupied and you want to use that classroom, you can use it as a breakout. Please bear in mind that if another member of staff does come, that they may want to use that classroom. So here you can write a reply, you can put that in, you can paste a link in. If you do want to upload a video to YouTube, you click this. You can click the YouTube, you can upload your electronic seminar straight from YouTube there. So, any questions you can tweet me. What I want you to do now is get into your groups, get the task sheet for your group, review it, make sure you're aware of what the in-course and end-course assessment is, and then use this time productively to produce a seminar focusing on your subject that is really informative and is well produced. I want you to challenge yourselves to go and do something you haven't done before. Any questions, you can email me as well, and I'll get back to those before next week, and I'll see you next Thursday. Thanks very much.